Hi, welcome to Drawing Club. Today we're drawing piping plovers. So these are our piping plovers, and to draw the mother plover and her baby plover, you will need a pencil and an eraser to erase any mistakes, and maybe a pencil sharpener. And after we're finished with the pencil, you'll need a black marker or a black pencil crayon to outline. But as usual, I'm going to use my gray marker just so you guys can see what I'm doing when I'm drawing. So to draw the mother, we're going to make two circles to start with. I'm going to make a circle that's roughly going to show where her head is going to be. Kind of like that. And I'm going to make a bigger sort of oval shape where her body is going to be. Just like this. Okay. And remember, if I'm drawing too fast, you can always pause the video and catch up. All right, so I think I'm going to do her eye next. So I'm going to put a circle here for her eye. And then I'm going to make a circle inside to show where the light is. And then I'm going to make one more circle on the outside. Just like that. And for her beak, I'm going to make a kind of, well, it's a little bit like a triangular shape, but it's actually going to have more lines than a triangle. Just going to bring it down outside of her, the line where her face is there. And then back up. You know what, I lied, that pretty much is a triangle for the top part. And then I'll do another one for the bottom part. A line there, and just like that. And the front part of a plover's beak is a different color, so I'm going to put a little line that just reminds me that I need to color the front part black, and the back part is going to be kind of an orangey, yellowy color. Just going to put a little mark in there for that sort of nose hole that sometimes appears in birds' beaks. Next, I'm going to put a line coming from the middle kind of the body out here to the end to show her wing and her tail. All the way through, right to near the edge of the page there. And then I'm going to bring this back up and join it to her back. Like that. Down at the bottom of her body, I'm going to add a little kind of some little tufts of feathers. So these little zigzaggy lines that show where there's feathers there at the bottom. And then she has two legs. So I'm going to do two lines for the first leg, and then just show the beginning of her foot, which is going to be covered up by the sand. And then the other leg is a little bit more bent. So just like that. Okay. And there's a sort of a dark mark across the front of a plover's head. So I'm just going to use my gray marker, this would be your pencil, just to put in some kind of shading there to show that that's there. And then right along under her neck, she has the same kind of mark that's going to go along here. And this is one of the ways we can tell that this bird is a plover and not another kind of shorebird. There are lots of different kinds of birds that stay at beaches and kind of get their food there and make their nests there. But a piping plover has these markings that show us that it's a plover. I'm just going to put a few more lines here at the top of the wing. Like this. And a couple more here. And I'm just going to show a few little marks to show that the wing just has a few little, I don't really know what to call them, maybe cuts into it or just some spaces. I'm going to add an extra feather to the back of the tail as well, right there. And then along, I realized there should be another little line coming underneath the tail there. And then I'm going to make a few little zigzaggy marks to show that this is all kind of feathery down here as well. Okay. I may change the shapes of her body a little bit when I go over it again with my black marker. You know what? Maybe I'll do it now. I'm just going to change the shape of the side of her head here. Bring it up and down and then in there and out there. And this part of her body, I'm going to just change it a little bit there. Okay. And I think that's all I need to do for her, for the mother plover. And then for the baby, we're going to do sort of the same thing again. We're going to make, this time it's going to be a smaller oval shape for the head here. And then a slightly bigger oval shape for the body. Just like that. And it's got a little beak. So one little triangle and another little triangle underneath. And then a little eye here with a circle inside. And then sort of like we did where we drew this wing, I'm going to draw a little line here to show a wing. And the baby plover doesn't have these long tail feathers yet, so we're just going to put a few little marks to show the feathers there. And then a couple of lines here to show the legs. And the back leg is sort of bent up a little bit like it's kicking at the sand. And one little toe and another little toe. And then I'm going to put the just some stones and some sand along here to show where they're standing, to show that this is a beach they're on. Maybe a bigger rock there. Okay. That might be everything I'll do with my pencil. I'm going to switch over now to my, ooh, you know what? There is this little mark right at the top of the head there that even the babies have for the plovers. So I'm going to put that there before I go over to my outlining marker. So now I'm probably going to change some of these shapes a little bit as I draw here. Okay, so let's start with the eye. Okay, so I'll draw the white part inside the eye, and then the black part, and I might just color this in. So piping plovers are a bird that migrates. And you might have heard about this before in school, that birds that migrate, they fly away to warmer places in the winter. And so piping plovers, we have them here on Prince Edward Island, out at Brackley Beach and at some other beaches. But when it starts to get too cold here on PEI in the wintertime or in the fall, they fly away down to down into the United States, down to North Carolina, places like that where it is warmer. But unfortunately, piping plovers are what's called a threatened species of bird, which means there really aren't as many of them as we would like. So we have to do a lot of work to protect them. Right now, there are less than 7,000 of these birds in Canada and the United States. And that's the only place where they live. They don't live in any other countries in the world. They just live here in North America. And they don't even live in that many places here in North America. So we're lucky that we live in a place where they come and where they have their babies. And so in April, they will come to places like Brackley Beach, and that's when they will build their nests together, the mother and father bird, and that's when they will lay their eggs in April. And they often lay 4 eggs at the end of April. And one of the reasons why we have to protect them is because there are a lot of other animals that are predators of the piping plovers, and that means they will eat the babies of the plovers. And so animals like foxes or raccoons or crows, and there are some other animals too that will do that. So in order to help the plovers and protect them, we sometimes do special things at the beach just to help them out. And one of the things that sometimes people do is build a kind of a fence, and they put up signs that tell everyone, look, this is a place where the piping plovers are having their nests and where their babies are, so please be careful. Don't go near the nests. And if they put up some kinds of fences, they can even keep other animals out. They can keep out a fox or a raccoon that might want to get in. That's one of the things that people do. And there's volunteers here on Prince Edward Island, and they help, and they will go and put up those signs, and they will put up those fences to protect the nests. But even when we are at the beach, there's things we can do to help and make sure that the piping plovers are okay and that their babies are safe. And one of the simple things we can do is to clean up any garbage that we have brought, especially food garbage. Because one of the things is, if we leave food garbage at the beach, then that's what will attract foxes or raccoons and other animals that will come to the beach, because they'll smell the good smells of human food, and they might be looking for that, and then they might notice that there are also the baby birds there. So by cleaning up after ourselves, we can really help the plovers. And we can also help them by not going up into the sand dunes. And we're not supposed to do that anyway at Brackley. There are signs that say you shouldn't go into the dunes because we can accidentally hurt the sand dunes if the grass comes out, and then the dunes will fall apart. But also, if we stay away from the dunes, it means that we can make sure that the birds are protected. Because if the mother and father plover see human beings coming, they might kind of worry, and they might think that we're going to hurt the babies. So they start to make a sound that is an alarm sound. It's a sound that tells the other plover, maybe the mom or the dad, that they need to come back to the nest and protect the babies, or to in fact, they have a cool trick that they do. If they do see another animal or a person coming close to the nest, the mother or father bird will sort of come out and pretend that their wing is broken, and they'll drag it in the sand and trying to attract the attention of the fox or the other animal and get it to go away from the nest. But the problem is, if humans are coming close to the nest and they're making a lot of noise, the birds are making a lot of noise trying to scare them away, then other animals might hear them making that noise, and they might know the nest is there. So it's really good if we can give the piping plover lots of space to have its babies and to teach its babies how to fly. It takes about 30 days from the time when the baby plover is born before it's able to fly, which seems like a very short time to me. It took me a long time to learn how to walk and how to ride a bike and do lots of other things that I can do now. So it's amazing for me to think that a bird can be born and 30 days later can already be flying. But for the plovers, it is a dangerous time for the babies because they can't fly away if they're in danger. So those are just some of the ways that we can help the plovers. Okay, I think that's about it for the drawing. Okay, I'm going to bring this back down. Okay, so here's the color version, and piping plovers are, you might notice I've used the same colors as I used for the sand, because they actually are the same colors as the sand, and that helps them because even their eggs are the same color as the sand, their babies are the same color as the sand, and so it's hard for other animals to see them. It's a kind of camouflage. So I've drawn this plover with some kind of gray and some brown in the wings there, and they do have those darker patches of black on their head and on their neck. And then you can see here I colored the end of the beak a kind of black and gray, and then the rest of the beak that orange and yellow color. But of course, if you wanted to change the colors of your piping plover, you definitely could. All right, thanks again for coming today, and I can't wait to see you guys again.